Marvels, 1994, issue number 1. Marvels. There was fire in 39, even I could feel it. It was nothing but a scrappy Brooklyn kid, still wet behind the bars. Catch! But we were a scrappy country back then. We'd KO'd the Great Depression, and the blaze in Europe didn't scare us. You believe that Hitler and his readiness for peace bunk? Yeah, while he's pouring crack troops into the Rhineland? How soon you figure before we're in it? Ask Senator Toby once FDR finishes chewing him up. Our fire was hotter, and we're ready to prove it. They're going to need good photographers over there, and I'm good. The name Phil Sheldon may mean nothing now, but you just wait and see. Europe's where things are jumping, where careers are being made. Yeah, and where people are dying by the carload. Me, I'm not tired of sordid old New York yet. I don't think I ever will be. But to each his own. When I run the bugle, here we go again. As I was saying, when I run the bugle, you can head the foreign bureau. Maybe if I still feel like it. For now, though. We're just working stiffs, and we take the jobs we get handed. Of course, some jobs are better than others. And on that note, I'll see you birds later. Got a juicy labor dispute to cover. Thanks for the ride, and have fun with your crackpot. Rub it in, why don't ya? Go fry your hat, pal. The nerve some people have. I kept an eye out for photo possibilities, but didn't expect any. Phineas T. Horton was one of those scientists. His tamer theories made. Einstein seemed like recipes for chicken soup. Welcome, gentlemen. I'm glad so many of you could come. But then it was a slow news day. He spouted some dime novel rubbish about synthetic man he was having trouble with. I thought about Europe and didn't pay attention until I'll allow some oxygen to enter the chamber. And you'll see why I call him. Good Lord. The Human Torch. The sudden jolt of shock and terror rocked us back like physical blow, but it only lasted a moment. Then common sense reasserted itself. The thing was fake. It had to be. Check your calendar, Horton. Halloween's not for weeks yet. What'd you do? Douse a mannequin in kerosene? Puff. We should have brought marshmallows. I'd have scoffed too, but I was doing my job, thinking a picture might make the back pages somewhere. So I was the only one looking directly at the thing when it moved. It looked alive, as human as you or I, but it was on fire, and I swear it looked straight at me. You want your name in the paper, Horton? You'll get it, but not the way you hoped. But gentlemen, that thing is a danger to the whole city. It'll destroy it, or it'll force you to. I didn't know what to say on the way to the cars. I don't think anyone did, but we knew our jobs. Buck Street, read all about blazing man of fire. I couldn't help feeling a little sorry for Horton. That thing, it looked at me like a person would. What must it have been like to destroy it? I heard later he ended up burying it. Power of the press. But the weeks passed, and there were other kinds of fire. What do you think, sweethearts? The ones in the blue box? There was work and life and the city by night. And in my case, there was Doris' jacket. They're awful pricey. I love you, but I don't want to break you. Let's do it, Doris. Let's take the risk. I can see it all, Doris. I'll make it to Europe, make a name for myself. I'll be able to give you all you deserve. The little house in Queens, the white picket fence, the works. Sounds great, but I'd settle for just you, safe and alive. There was no need for her to worry about that. I was immortal. We all were back then. Eek! That scream! There wasn't any real danger. This might be it. The scoop that'll convince Mr. Goodman to send me to Europe. Just opportunity. What is it? Stay away, Charlie. Make it stay away. Please. Wait here, honey. Where it's safe. I'll be right back. But when I rounded the corner, no! It was clear in their faces. They'd seen the stories in the paper, chuckled over them as they ate their eggs and bacon. But now, those faces told a different story. A story of fear and awe, and a world cut loose from its moorings. Of course, I wasn't watching them. Puff. And just as I was wondering how the torch escaped and thinking that he looked as surprised and confused as we did, and at the same time telling myself that was ridiculous, that it was an object, not a person, he was gone, leaving behind nothing but flaming footprints that flickered and died in the chill night air. I must be seeing things. It was a trick of the light. Yeah, Phil. Too much bubbly. Propaganda, some kind of German trick. What was it? I saw something in the sky. They couldn't comprehend what they'd seen, so they dismissed it. It was over. They could shake it off now. But I'd seen it twice. So while the rest of New York went back to business, dancing to Jimmy Dorsey and watching the war in Europe like a ball game, I waited for the other shoe to drop. Phil! Phil! Oh, Phil, thank God you're here. What is it, Doris? What happened? I was on my lunch break. I took my sandwich to the waterfront like I usually do. It was steady, sweetheart. Take a deep breath. But there was this man, Phil. This big, eerie-looking, naked man. He had a bandaged girl. The police said he kidnapped her from the hospital. The police, they shot him. But Phil, the bullets didn't hurt him at all. He picked up a police car and threw it. He threw the car. He leaped into the water and looked back at the cops like they were just a nuisance to him. The police, they saved the girl, but the naked man just swam away without ever coming up for air. Ah, criminy. I've been hearing this submarine story all morning. He busted up a power plant, went flying over Central Park. It's a whole lot of hooey. It's one of them Orson Welles tricks. A bunch of bunk only suckers these believe. Yeah, but I was there. I saw it. Just a trick, little lady. Phil, it's okay, sweetheart. You saw what you saw. They all agreed that she was wrong and it was nothing. And I wondered how long they could keep it up. Not that long, as it turned out. Manhattan seemed like the whole world to us, but sometimes to us sometimes, but it was an island. And the marvels among us didn't exactly hide. Melted that poor man's car. Caught a dangerous maniac, they say. A gang of hoodlums in special flaming suits. And where'd they get that idea then? Not natural? That horrifying face stopped that racing scam a few weeks back. Just what he wants you to think. Whole subway tunnel was flooding. Would have drowned for sure. Saved us all. Who's to say he didn't start the flood in the first place? Ripped right through steel, shifted tons of metal and glass, and do we just say thank you to? Don't like those ears at all. And when you came right down to it, the island wasn't that big. Now, where's that easy wit of yours, that cheerful contempt for the world and everything in it? Look at this story. Human Torch flies medicine to Trap Town. Ha! Puff. Pfa. The things these freaks do, making Joes like you and me look like pikers, and we just lap it up. I like to lock him up and throw away the key. That's enough. Food here's lousy anyway. Not that big at all. It was around then that I finally got my chance to go to Europe, but you're turning it down. Phil, you've been begging this for months. I know, Mr. Goodman, and I can't explain it. I'd just rather stay for now. What could I say? That the city had changed somehow and things just didn't seem right anymore? I'm sorry. Still, that's how I felt. It's not like there hadn't been mystery men before. The Angel, the Phantom Eagle, even as far back as the Rawhide Kid. But this was different. These new creatures, they were more than human. And with Doris and her mother all Twitter over wedding plans, what do you think, Phil? Pink or mauve? Oh, whatever, they're both fine. Phil, is something wrong? You've been jumping as a cat all evening. It's nothing, I'm fine. I'm going out for a smoke. How was I supposed to be a husband? Maybe a father? In a world where any moment a monster could come crashing through your wall. Marvels, I called them, and that's what they were. Next to what? Next to that, what were we? Before they came, we were so big, so grand. We were Americans, young, strong, vital. We were the ones who got things done. But we gotten smaller. I could see it in those same faces. Faces that had once been so confident, so brash. We weren't the players anymore. We were the spectators. We were waiting for something without knowing what it was. And in the late spring of 1940, fellas, Mr. Goodman, what's all of you in his office? Pronto. You ain't gonna believe what's happened. The waiting stopped. The submariner was pitching a fit and taking it out on the city, and the chief of police sicked the Human Torch on him. It was as if the gods of legend had returned to Earth, at least if you read about it in the papers, that is, to follow the Marvels through their combat as the submariner bolted from landmark to landmark, sounding destruction, the torch a streak of fire on his tail. It must have seemed like a glorious aerial ballet, dangerous, beautiful, and thrilling, and maybe it was, but not for us. What we saw was carnage and destruction and confusion. Cripes, look at the eel. Look at the L. Which way, kid? That way, toward the Empire State Building. And frightened people who felt safe a minute or two ago, trying to get out of the way but not sure which way to run. I've got to get to a phone. We barely even saw any of the action. It moved so fast. Look, there he goes. I'm no fan of that guy. I don't hold it with people built from a kit. But right here and now, I hope he gives that water-breathing jerk what for. Don't say that. You don't know what you're talking about. Huh? And you are Betty Dean, policewoman. I've met Namor. He's only trying to get what he considers justice for his people. You shouldn't judge him until you know both sides of the story. People? There's more than one of him? Hey, did you hear that submariner guy just flooded the Holland Tunnel and it's full of cars? I've got to get to a phone. You'll have to excuse us, Officer Dean. Much as we'd love to listen, you make excuses for a rampaging maniac. We have work to do. We didn't catch up to either of them at the tunnel or the Central Park Zoo or the George Washington Bridge. It wasn't until they reached the Statue of Liberty that we got more than a glimpse of them. See, there, up on the statue. And at that, it was quite a distance. The submariners blows out the torch's fire somehow, and he's throwing him off. We held our breath as the torch burst into flame again, but too late. He hit the drink. And look, that fish-faced rat's diving in after him. Say, can robots drown? The torches escaped. Some minutes later was hidden from us by a coal bar, so we missed that too. But at least I finally reached the phone. You're all right, Doris? No, there was some noise and the building shook, but that's all. It's you I'm worried about out there in all that. Look, get to Lanigan's and wait for me there. There will be newsmen there, so if anything happens, you'll know right away. And the building's solid as a rock. Phil, kiss her for me and hang up. We're going We're going to Radio City. What? He's kidnapping Rockettes now? Whole television studio. Take a gander. This is Price Namor, the submariner with a message for the so-called Human Torch. This is my final warning. Get off my trail, Torch, or suffer the consequences. Of course, all we found at Radio City was scared employees wrecking equipment and holes in the walls. The Torch and the submariner had hot-footed upstate, and the roads were too jammed with panicked New Yorkers to follow. So while they wheeled and soared and clashed in the spring sunshine, we kept to the shadows and strained for any word of them. Can't you get better reception than that, Lanigan? Shh. Repeat the latest developments. The Human Torch had imprisoned the submariner beneath a sheet of flame in an upstate reservoir. But the undersea dynamo freed himself, even as the army bombed his prison, dear Lord. We will continue to bring you updates as they occur, but now a word from Blast Them! What is that? What is it, Phil? What's wrong? Look at us, just sitting here, waiting. There isn't a thing we can do. And this is our city, our world. Who gave them the right to just come and take it away from us? I'm gonna drink water. Oh, man. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Look alive, kids. Police pool says the Torch is back in town and headed for the Torpy Chemical Works. He's up to something, all right. Let's move. As luck would have it, the police had cleared the bridges by then, and our press credentials got us through. Boy, Phil, I've got to hand it to you. You're one smart guy. Huh? If you'd taken that job, you'd be on a steamer to Europe right now, and you'd be missing this. Who cares about the war in Europe anymore? We got our own war right here, and this time we're Johnny on the spot. It was the first thing I heard in all this that made any sense. It was like a war, not just the battles, but the very fact the marvels themselves. A war, or some freakish violent storm. And all anyone could do was hold fast and hope to ride it out. It's that cop. That's Dean's woman. She's gotten him to make nice at each other. I don't believe it. They're actually smiling at each other. If they shake hands, I'm definitely gonna throw up. Just like that, it was over. And of course, there was no reprisals, no punishments. Nobody got hurt, but the normal people. Aw, nuts! The Torch just let him go after all he did. That ain't fair. Forget it, Iggy. You expect a storm to pay for the damage it caused? A war to care who gets killed? Just forget it. The next day dawned like nothing had happened at all. Everybody put their bags into digging out, repairing the damage just like ants. And we all grumbled and we all said something ought to be done, but what was there to do? What was there for a man to do? I found Doris at a makeshift clinic on the east side. This is Mr. Compton, Phil. He was in the L when it went down. Some ride. You bet. Woohoo! Woo-wee. Doris, can you spare a minute? What happened yesterday? What's been happening for months? I'll blow over. It can't keep on forever, but until things are sane again, well, a man's nothing next to those things. Phil, what are you saying? Maybe you should put our wedding plans off for a little while, just until all this is over. I don't want a Superman, darling. You don't understand. A man. A man's got to be able to protect his family. If he can't do that, he's got no business being a hubbin'. If that's how you feel, Phil, you better have this back. I wouldn't want to burden you. Doris, if you ever want to give it back, you know where to find me. When this is over, I'd said, when would that be? It would blow over. The world wouldn't stay like this. It couldn't. Could it? Fall turned to winter, and 40 to 41, and nothing changed. Everything was in turmoil everywhere. So I want to call her. I stared at the telephone for 2 hours last night, but you're an imbecile, Phil. Things change, but not the way anyone expected. But I always have to be the Nazis. I don't wanna. Take a listen, Phil. I want to be Captain America. Okay, then, I'm Ratsy Dive Bomber, and I'm dropping my bombs all over ya. Don't be stupid, Maxie. Bombs don't mean nothing to Captain America. Look at this. He's the best. He'd jump onto ya, rip off your canopy, and stuff them bombs down your Nazi throat. Nothing stops him. A tank, he'd kick it onto his back like a turtle. A platoon, scatter like duck pins. He's Captain America, Maxie. He's the best. He hit like a blitzkrieg. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing about him. Secret weapon. On good authority, a shooting star. Fella told me the governor, a whole squad of them. Nobody admitted to knowing anything at the Department of the Army, but they were sure smug about something. And the headlines. I knew the guys who wrote the stories, and I still had trouble believing them. The Nazi saboteurs, the assassination rings, the fifth columnist. Every day it seemed like there was something new. He strolled out of the Nazi strongholds like he was walking through the park, shrugged off bullets and bayonets. And we ate it up like candy. That Captain America, he'll give that Hitler what for. Did you see those pictures in Life magazine? Those shoulders, those eyes? He's doing what we ought to be doing, taking the fight to the man who started it. I can't wait till we're in this. You'll see some stuff then. And Ma Fury's boy'll be leading the charge, eh? Captain Hill's kitchen. Maybe you can be his kid partner if Bucky catches chicken pox. Nicky the kid scrapper. Shut up, Bala. Yes, before I pop you one. What? And the most amazing thing was this. No one was scared of him. He was as much a marvel as the Torch or the Submariner, but he was never a threat like they were. Was it because they were outsiders and he was one of us, our own personal American champion? Whatever it was catching. As we found out a few weeks later, hi Doris. You know Bill Lumpkin, don't you? I'm not sure. We've met, but I'm sure you wouldn't remember me. Nice to see you again then, I guess. Don't get it, Phil. I don't get it, Phil. Isn't that your girl? Shh. Enjoy the movie. The show was a pretty good one. They had a silly symphony and a Follow the Bouncing Ball sing-along. And then they showed the newsreel. Dramatic footage captured from the vaults of German high command by British agents, showing a stunning victory for the forces of freedom and justice. The timely march of news. Oh boy. As an incredible Human Torch and indefatigable submariner roll over the Nazi-Jap war machine, it seems amazing eggs of fire and water uncovered a joint effort by Germans and Japs to borrow an invasion tunnel under the Bering Strait to Alaska. And weren't those military mountebanks surprised when a couple of unannounced guests dropped in for a visit? The Jap and Nazis had guns, tanks, poison gas. You never saw theaters fall so silent so fast. But did the Human Torch care? No, sir, he did not. And as for the submariner, well, he clearly believes in the old adage that actions speak louder than words. And when it was over, go Torch, hit those Nazi rats, smash him, sink him. Submariner, what a guy, what a combo. The Human Torch and the Submariner have fought against the warmongers before, but never so publicly, never so spectacularly, and never together. And if it struck me as odd at the time to applaud two men who'd caused so much destruction so recently, I was too busy cheering to notice. Overnight, we adopted the Marvels as our boys, and we weren't shy about it. He used to live right around here, they say. And he saved my business from a gasoline syndicate, sure as shooting. Catch that Namor. Says here he broke up a prisoner of war escape up in Canada. Guess he showed those boys who's boss. He ain't a patch on the Torch. You hear now he nabbed that arsonist. The world had shifted again. The dark menacing shadows had been lit up. And turned out not to be monsters after all. I'm glad you agreed to see me, Doris. That guy, Bill. He's really just our mailman. We met in the lobby. I've been acting like a fool, kind of. No argument from me, Phil. Well, I just know you. Do you think we could go back to the way things were? I don't think so. I'm still sort of mad at you, but if you want to start over, I think that could be arranged. I can't remember a more glorious fall. The air was crisp, the days were bright and fresh, and the world was full of wonders. I was thinking of the little house and the picket fence, and the only marvels I cared to think about were Doris's eyes. And there was no danger, nothing that couldn't be safely ignored, so it was as much of a shock to me as to everyone else. Stop the music, please. If I could have everyone's attention. I've been asked to tell you the Submariner has apparently launched a military attack on all of civilization. He's been reported battling both British and Italian forces in Spain, and is currently in possession of Gibraltar. The Human Torch led a British counterattack, but he has not been heard from in many hours. It is considered unlikely that the Submariner's forces will reach the United States, but nevertheless, watertight shelters are being prepared in the subway tunnels. Emergency instructions will be posted in all public places. Every sentence was thunderbolt. It didn't make any sense. The Submariner was one of our boys, wasn't he? How can this be happening? It's not possible. This must have been what Londoners felt like during the Blitz. They felt so safe on their side of the channel, and then the channel didn't mean anything anymore. We listened for instructions, for evacuation plans, and we listened as the Submariner was reported to be attacking in Africa, Berlin, Canada. Auga! Attention, this is not a drill. Auga! The Submariner is headed for New York. This is not a drill. Please proceed to your nearest shelter immediately. Phil? I knew what she was thinking. I'd said it before, a man's got to be able to protect his family. If you can't do that, you better get to the shelter, honey. But what about you? I've got a job to do. Phil, got your camera? It's riveted on, they said south on the radio. The battery, come on. Get to the shelters, both of press. The torch is on the way. We just heard. In here. If we can make it to the roof. I'm staying here. I've got a clear view and the grate ought to hold me. Not me. The grate ought to hold. Not me. I'm through hiding from it. I reach the roof just as... Here it comes. It was something to see. No kidding. We heard later about how he used whales and super turbines to generate the wave, but at that moment it hit. It was It was nature unleashed, pure and simple. Namor. If it was as if everything that had been brewing since we first saw the torch burst into flame had broken in one colossal storm. This stops now! You won't find it easy, Firebug. And I was at its eye. I was a part of it. I was right where I belonged. I was the witness. A chunk of masonry, the doctors told me, broken loose during the fight by one or both of them, marking me for all time. By the time I woke up, it was all over in more ways than one. Reparations were being made and the submariner was on the side of the Angels again. But more importantly, Japan had attacked Pearl Harbor. We were at war with the Axis power and nobody had the time to worry about the Marvels anymore. Phil, they said you were. Hiya, sweetheart. These flowers all from you. Nope. They're from her. Oh, Phil, your eye. The doctors said, how do I feel? You mean aside from wondering whether monocular vision will improve my photography? Am I mad at the Marvels for taking my eye? Am I going to swear vengeance on them? Devote my life to destroying them all or driving them out of our world so everything can be the way it was again? Is that what you were asking? Something like that. I'm going to have more important things to do. There's a war on, for one. And we've got a wedding to plan. That is, if you're willing to marry Popeye the cameraman. Shut up and kiss me, would you? Well, I'd say he's recovered. I was 4F thanks to my eye, but I did get to Europe as the war correspondent I'd wanted to be at the start. The food here's lousy, but what do you expect? I think it's last year's leftovers from the Bugle lunchroom. Moving out in a few minutes, Phil. I'll be ready, Casey. I've been thinking about what I tried to tell you when I left. About that day, what happened, how I think I know how to say it now. I've been waiting for the Marvels to go away, and what I realized that day, what maybe we all realized, they weren't some temporary thing like the World's Fair or the Olympics or even the war. They were for real. The Marvels are here to stay, and there's more of them all the time. Citizen V, the Wizard, the Blue Diamond. I could wait forever if I wanted, but that would just stop me, not them. Just got the word, let's go. And the thing I didn't see until I was up on that building and the wave was crashing around me, it isn't going to be them that adapts to us. The world is different now. The rules have changed. Down there, see them? That's a lot of Germans. Forever. The rules have changed forever. And nobody has an idea of what the future is going to bring. Yeah, but look what's coming. But do you know what? It's going to be one heck of a ride. Finding out. Your loving husband, Phil. End of book 1.